Everyone to this wonderful Friday.
Just making sure you're all paying attention out there. We're back.
All right. Yes. Okay. Sergeant at Arms, I guess that's a $5 fine for me for leaving the Zoom meeting. Lisa, thank you for that wonderful invocation. I'm sure all of you, when you heard about the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, your hearts sank, right? Just some amazing damage going on over there. But I wanted to thank Cindy, who's not here yet, because she sent out an email, and I hope you all saw it, that we know Sinan's from Turkey, his family's from that country, yet they are safe. They're not in that part of the where the earthquake took place. So I was worried about that and glad that she got the word out to all of us. Okay. We have a guest today that we'll let Peter do the Sergeant at Arms stuff, but I got to tell you that our district governor, Price, had been dropping into all these different clubs, and I've seen it pop up on Facebook, and I'm like, well, when's he going to pop up in our meeting? And today he's here. So we'll squeeze some time in if you want to speak. Okay, great. Thank you for joining us today. All right, I think we have a polar bear golf outing tomorrow. So Pete, Jean, did you guys want to bring us up?
Hi, everybody. So we're ready to go for tomorrow morning. We're gonna have people there as early as 7 o'clock, setting up the course, getting things ready to go. Registration starts at 8 a.m. and we're going to push people out at 9 o'clock because we've got, we were booked as of, I think, we were loaded up as of Monday, I think. Gene, how many golfers do we have now total? 128 golfers for the event tomorrow morning. So, yeah, you can thank that committee and that back table there. They've done a lot of hard work associated with some things. So, thank you all ahead of time for the volunteer efforts too, as well as we kind of move people in and out tomorrow. But again, 8 o'clock registration, 9 o'clock we're gonna get you on the golf course, and then 11:45 noonish is when we're going to start the lunch and the small program too as well. So look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Even if you're a non-golfer.
Yes, absolutely. 26th. Yes, so for those on Zoom, if you're going to be there, we do want to take as many pictures as we possibly can to commemorate the wonderful 26th, right? This is our 26th polar bear golf outing. So, okay, I asked Sharon Kendall to give us an update on the mission trip, which is going to be in mid-March, and they're moving right along. They had a wonderful conference call earlier in the week. She's in Florida today. I think she's been there for a couple weeks, lucky dog. But we are collecting.
Sorry, I just want to get Lou off the main screen here.
Oh.
Sorry, Lou. Yeah.
Up on, yeah. Oh,
No, it is.
we could do gallery. So at least it's not
Better.
a feature.
Okay.
person.
Great. Perfect. All right. Look at that. We got quite a crew out there today. Yes. Who here wears eyeglasses? Yes. Okay. Who here has at least 2 old pair of eyeglasses in drawers at home? Please bring those in, because if they are not being used, we can take them on our mission trip and they can be put to good use.
The readers count?
You know, she said they really don't want readers because somebody donated like 300. So she said not necessarily, but I don't think we'd say no. So please dig in and see what you can find. Okay. All right. Social committee, Mike, do you want to tell us? I think we got a Why Not Wednesday coming up, but
Wednesday getaway. We're planning something for April to be determined, and then the progressive dinner party is on Cinco de Mayo.
okay. And Peter's just come in. So yeah, so these two are really getting together some great plans for the progressive dinner on Cinco de Mayo, right? May 5th.
And anyone-
Looking forward to it. Great, great. Okay. And Paige reminded me last week about Happy Bucks. Does anybody have something that's going on in their world? Paige.
My close to is great. It looks great. No oxygen. Rick Sweeterman and I were convincing yesterday, and we were convincing in large part because there was a birthday yesterday. And I think we ought to at least say happy birthday today. Rick said he's 49 and his name is Gene Oliver.
So for those on Zoom, it's Jean's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday. All right. Any other Happy Bucks? Yes, Dave.
I found out yesterday my number one granddaughter engaged to be married.
That's fantastic. All right, Ingrid.
I got one. My son came in last night and with his girlfriend and they showed us the engagement.
Oh, congratulations. Yes, Lisa. In July. Oh. It's still my heart. Lots of good, happy stuff going on. Fantastic. Any other announcements, Peter? Oh, happy.
But is that my daughter started playing double bass. And another news, we have a new item sitting in the middle of our.
How much does a double bass weigh?
Yes,
It's, does it outweigh her? That's great. That's great. Yeah, Dinky.
Everybody said March 1st, but we will release our 2022 impact report. It'll be held at the Dublin Community Church. We'll provide lunch from Shake Shack. Yep, that's what it's called.
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack.
Mhm.
If you're interested, you can take a picture of this and I'll give you the invitation. We close on Tuesday.
Congratulations. So what's the move-in date look like? Any?
Construction starts March 1st.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. And then the last announcement I want to make is I don't have any information on this just yet, except that we always do the parade marshaling for the St. Patrick's Day parade. And I signed up to do this for the first time in March 2020, and there was no parade. And then last year, or no, in 21, there was still no parade. In 22, there was bad weather, so they canceled the parade. So I am so looking forward to doing my first parade marshaling, and I hope that you guys mark your calendar as well. I think it's March 11th. So is that the date? Yes. So. Yes. Come on, join me. Let's have some fun. Okay. Okay. So let's have Price, if you'd like to come up for a few minutes, and then we'll turn it over to Peter for Sergeant at Arms and get on to our fabulous speaker. Thanks, Price.
Wonderful. Thanks, Susan, for having me today. This is a DG pop-in. So this is not an official visit. Obviously, we were here together with 4 or 5 clubs back in September, I believe, and it was a great morning. But this is where the district governor just shows up unannounced. I think I've been accused in some cases of sort of checking up or sneak attack on the president. That is not what this is all about. It's all about fun. I also, there's a little bonus here. I do get your emails about your club meetings. And when I saw who your speaker was today, I said, I really need to come and hear Katy talk. I've known her since her name was Sebastian back in high school. And did you bring your guitar this morning? She's an amazing, amazing singer too, if you haven't had that experience. So it's that's a bonus for me to be here to hear your presentation on creative mindfulness. That's going to be nice. I wanted to do just two quick things. I know you all are just anxious to try to get your 125 club pins if you haven't already. So we've still got room, kind of in Claudia's vein of the the other event. But if you haven't gotten your 125 club pin, there are so many easy ways to do it, including just getting this flyer from me and scanning the QR code and doing it directly. I didn't get a record on how the club's doing so far with that. I think pretty well. Yeah, good numbers. So these are collector's items. You'll want to have these for the future. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is just an announcement to please save the date, April 28th and 29th. That is our district conference, and it will be at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum on Friday and Saturday there. We're going to start with district assembly at Columbus State Community College and then transition to a cocktail reception on the roof of the museum with great, it's not going to rain. It's going to be beautiful that evening. And we're going to gather on the rooftop and then have a full day of programming, including our keynote speaker, retired Major General Deborah Ashenhurst. So it's going to be a great day. We'll have docents to give guided tours throughout the day as well. If you haven't been in the museum, it's a fabulous asset to our community. So want to make sure you're holding that date on your calendar. Registration is opening soon. Any questions for me? This is easy. I like pop-ins. Thank you.
All right, and with that, let's move on to our Sergeant at Arms, Peter.
Good morning. Well, today is Friday, February 10th. It's the 41st day of the year. That means there are just 317 shopping days until Christmas. So we have some guests here today. Of course, we saw our district governor, Price Finley, with us today. And Paige, you have a guest today.
Yes, I'd like for you to meet again, Dan Quickman. Dan is a wealth banker with First Merchants Bank here in Columbus, lives here in Dublin, and is joining us tomorrow morning to do a little volunteer work at our post office today.
Fantastic. Welcome. All right. Well, so on this day, so you guys know, in 1763, the Treaty of Paris was signed, ending the French and Indian War. So my question to you is, what was that war known in Europe? What was it called in Europe? Anybody know the answer to that? That's a 7 Years' War. So also today in 1840, Queen Victoria married Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. And so for the subsequent kings after Queen Victoria, the royal house was known as the House of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. So that name was changed in World War I to what name? The House of what? Windsor. There you go. Good job. And then today marks the 111th anniversary of the death of Joseph Lister, the first Baron Lister. He was a doctor and a pioneer in antiseptic research. What famous product is named after Listerine? You got it. And then finally, on this day in 1502, the Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama set sail from Lisbon on his second journey to India. What was Vasco da Gama's lesser known brother's name?
Julio.
That was Skip. I'm pretty sure that's true. For those of you who got a question right, congratulations. For the rest of you, that's $1. And the small pot today is $20. The large pot, because Jim Warburton cleaned us out last week, is $120. And we'll have our guest go ahead and draw the ticket. So 417-317. 317. All right. Like small pot or you broke the water?
Big right, big.
And then we'll do the second, and then for the small pot. And 417-288. 417-288. All right, congratulations. Thank you, everyone.
Feel so smart after your presentation. We know it all now. All right, with that, I think Roberta, would you like to introduce our guest speaker today?
Okay. I first met Katy Oberle when she made a presentation. Can y'all see me? Here, thank you. I first met Katy when she made a presentation to the Tri-Village Rotary meeting last year when we were visiting other Rotaries. So I was really impressed and very, I enjoyed it a lot, so much that I recommended to Ingrid that we have her speak to our club. So Katy is a licensed marriage and family therapist turned creative mindfulness coach. She's also a singer-songwriter. She provides creative mindfulness programming to individuals, businesses, and organizations to help them manage stress. We don't have stress, right? Yeah, right. Improve their relationships, lean into gratitude, and bring more joy and creativity into their lives so they can thrive at home, at work, and out in the world. Her presentations and workshops orient participants to the definition, purpose, and benefits of mindfulness as she invites attendees to think out of the box when it comes to their mindfulness practice. She has a BA in psychology, MS in marriage and family therapy, certified meditation and mindfulness teacher, and a yoga teacher, so on and on. She lives in Columbus with her hubby, 2 daughters, and 2 Siamese cats. Welcome, Katy.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm going to do the thing that makes me the most nervous of any part of a presentation, which is putting up my PowerPoint. Okay.
Just don't leave the meeting.
All right, we're going to present and then we're going to share screen. While I'm doing this, you can all just find your breath. Let's start there, right? All right, here we go. I've got it. Share screen, desktop, share. And from my desktop, I'm going to minimize this, present again. Now, here we go. Woo! And I'm going to say, I got it. All right. I'm so glad to be here today. You got to tell me when my cutoff is, though. Okay. Is it like 8:30 is the hard stop? Okay. All right. Woo. All right. I'm a fast talker anyway, even with decaf coffee, so I can do this. So yeah, a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Upper Arlington and swore I'd never boomerang back. And we've been back for about 8 years. So that's how that goes. And I'm drinking the Kool-Aid fully and I'm in the Civic Association now. So I'll be spinning the bear. If any of you know about the 4th of July parade, that's a big deal. So this is my husband. He's a pediatric rheumatologist at Nationwide and we've got 2 beautiful girls. 7th grade and 4th grade. That's just a random representative cat, but I do love cats. My husband's allergic, but we have 2 anyway, just 'cause he's really a nice person. And yeah, so I went to Miami. That's the Miami merger symbol because my husband and I met there in RA class as resident assistants. And so then I moved up to Northern Illinois to do my master's, and then on to Milwaukee, where he did all of his medical training and residency fellowship. We lived there for about 10 years and then came back. So I've been in MFT all my career, but last year I was experiencing a lot of burnout to the point of just really needing to reevaluate everything in my life, as many of us have done, right? They call that great reevaluation. And I was one of those. And I still wanted to be able to use my therapeutic skills, but I don't know if you've noticed, but a bit of an extrovert. And I wanted to be beyond the office. I wanted to bring in my creativity more. I wanted to use more of my ability to bring music into my offerings. And what really helped me get through burnout, in addition to therapy and a good relationship and, ice cream and whatever, was mindfulness. And finding practices like embodied mindfulness in the form of yoga and creative mindfulness, which I'll tell you a little bit what I mean by that. So those were the things that really served me well. And we've all been through the ringer in many different ways. And I want to make sure that everyone feels like mindfulness can be accessible and not just this term we hear and that you feel like you should do, but you don't really know how. So we're going to just make it relatable and accessible. And hopefully you'll get a nugget or 2 to take with you. And because of our short time together today, I'll pass out cards. You can be on my email list if you want, and I'm happy to answer any other questions and link you to resources. So that's a little bit about me. So, right, what is mindfulness? It's much more simple than maybe you've heard say. It's really just about being able to access the present moment in kind of a gentle way. Right. So James Barres, who's a meditation teacher of over at Spirit Rock, is like the West Coast place to be for meditation and mindfulness. And he talks about mindfulness being just simply being aware of what's happening right now without wishing it were different. And that's sounds simple, but it's not easy at all, right? Enjoying the pleasant without holding on to it when it changes. And that's really hard. Of course, we're happiness seekers, right? We want it to be pleasant all the time. That's natural. So when we get too attached to that, that's when we suffer more, right? Because we're holding on to something so much, like, don't let this vacation end. I really don't want it to end. And like that we can't end up enjoying the vacation because we're worrying about it ending. And then being with the unpleasant without fearing it will always be this way, right? So being able to know that it's that cliche, but true saying, like, this too shall pass. And it's both sides of that, right? The good stuff will pass, the bad stuff will pass. And all of this is our human experience. And can we be present for all of it? So meditation then really is, in a blanket term, a collection of formal practices of mindfulness, right? So when we are able to come into present moment awareness, we can do this in a way that sort of has a start and stop. And that is like doing a meditation practice, right? So it's kind of like going to the gym for our mind, my little brain guy. And so it's really about training our attention in order to enhance our well-being. So the idea is that if we do this finite amount of time in formal meditation, we start to carve out some neural pathways that help us do that same type of practice in our daily lives off the cushion, right? But most of our lives is off the cushion. You may never want to sit on a cushion for formal mindfulness, and you definitely don't have to be on a cushion to do that. You can be doing it right here, and you just might in a minute. So meditation in 3 steps. And for those of you who are already been meditators for a long, long time, like, this may be old hat, but can you still stay present too, right? To just sort of be here in the material and see if you can get anything new from it, have a beginner's mind. So there are many different lineages when we talk about mindfulness and meditation. Clearly, it originated from Eastern traditions, from Buddhism, but meditation is not just for Buddhists or just for monks. It's been secularized, and anyone can access it. And really, to do that, it's being able to, if you're doing sitting meditation, just sit comfortably. You don't have to, be in a half lotus or, do the little like mudra thing with your fingers, anything. You just sit comfortably. there's a saying of like straight back, open heart, right? So just so that you're not maybe hunched over. And then the process is really just noticing what happens, noticing where your mind goes, and sort of just floating your attention on top of that. You can use an anchor to keep you in the present moment. And oftentimes people say use your breath as an anchor because it's the thing that's with you all the time. And so when you are in a formal meditation, you're just breathing. You're aware that you're breathing because obviously you've been breathing this entire time and maybe you just haven't been aware of it. There's so many other things to think about. It's okay. Your body does it for you, which is a miracle, right? But you'll be able to know then you are breathing. And you'll also quickly find that your mind floats away from that knowing that you're breathing and that present moment experience. It floats to, the email that you have to return, or, the place that you get to go this weekend, or, your to-do list, or what you should have said last night to your spouse so you didn't have to go to bed angry, or, whatever. And that's okay. That's natural. That's just what the human mind does. It's noticing that and non-judgmentally, compassionately bringing yourself back. And that kind of going away and coming back, and going away and coming back is meditation practice. It's the noticing. So anytime you notice that you aren't present, you're mindful. Really, mindlessness, an automatic pilot, kind of numbing out in its various forms, is sort of the opposite of mindfulness. So just for about 1 minute, let's just try how that feels and just be an observer of what happens when you're given that stillness, that opportunity for stillness, which some of us carve into our days more than others, and some of us just cannot find. And everybody's life circumstance is different. So you are having this ability to do this now. So this is it's better than just saying, okay, you guys start. The bell has like a nicer way of doing that. So when the bell dings, you can also just follow the sound of the bell. Anything that's happening in your present moment can be your anchor. The hum of the projector, if there was a bird that you were hearing. Again, people just use their breath because it's always with them. So whatever you want to do is fine. But just be the observer of what happens during that time, and then I'll bring you back. Eyes may be closed or open, whatever feels safe and comfortable. You can rest them in a kind of a soften downward gaze if they're open. So my mind went lots of places just in that time. Did anybody else's mind go somewhere besides just totally fine? Does anyone want to like shamelessly share where their mind went? It's always entertaining because the mind knows no shame, right? It like goes into like existential crisis mode, like why are we even here? And then like, what do I fix for dinner tonight? Like, what do we have in the fridge, right? So our mind just goes all sorts of places. Anybody want to share?
my age, right? When I'm that quiet, I fall asleep.
I'm glad you came back to us, Jim. And you have Dwight there to just tap you if you heard a snore. Yeah, I mean, that's what often happens. I went on, I've been on a couple silent meditation retreats. I don't go on a lot because it's very confrontive and it's busy and whatever, but you have long periods of time. And when people get there and you're sitting for 45 minutes and doing this, like, oh, people are down for the count. I mean, you go back to your room and you just take a nap and that's okay. We're pretty much sleep deprived, right? As a culture. So that would make sense. Yeah. Everyone loves naps. So how can mindfulness help you? I'm not going to go into all the neuroscience, all the research. You got to take my word for it. Okay. I had some people say that I'm legit. So just know that like, I'm not just being like, oh, like, it's what you should do. I mean, there's evidence behind it too, because I know for our analytical minds, like that's really important. It is. Why are, we want to do things that actually have some evidence, but everyone is stressed, right? And so this is, again, why I find mindfulness, why a lot of people find mindfulness the entry point. Certainly there's a lot of other benefits to it rather than just stress management, but that's a lot of times, how people get into the practice. It's just like, let me have some serenity now, right? Help me just calm my nervous system down. And our nervous systems are chronically stressed so that usually we feel like that there's this like tiger running at us, right? We go into this fight or flight response or freeze. And that's what chronic stress does to us. It's human nature. We're mammals and we are primed to respond to threat. And the only problem is that our brain codes so many things as threats to the level of the tiger that really aren't, especially for people like me that are anxiously temperamented. It's like, is someone mad at me? Oh God, I didn't return this email within 24 hours. Like, I mean, yeah, just, bless my husband. So yeah, it's just a jungle in there. And over time, we get into sympathetic nervous system activation all the time. That's our fight or flight, right? Our parasympathetic is our rest and digest. And, in the world, in the world of nature, right out, like if this tiger were chasing an animal and the animal got away, it would like shake itself off, complete the stress response, go back to chewing on grass or whatever, resting and digesting. But our prefrontal cortex helps us and, also emotionally hijacks us sometimes so that we can't really discern sometimes what real threat is or not. So, in social situations or work situations, we might have a fight response to, somebody saying something to us in a meeting, like disagreeing with us. And we might come back and say, no, that actually is wrong. And this is right because like we might sort of react like that. Or we might have a flight response like, oh, just talking about something else. Or we might have a freeze response, which is what happened when I first started doing presentations. Or we might have a fawn response, which is kind of my go-to. It's sort of like a people-pleasing type of response, but underneath maybe we're like resentful and we're like, that's fine. Yeah, that sounds good, right? Because it's how we get the threat to go away. Like, sure, that's fine, that's fine. And so we're chuckling because we can all relate to either people that do these things or we're finding a little bit of us in these reactions. So Viktor Frankl said, and I believe that he derived this quote from someone else, but between stimulus, the thing that happens, and response, the thing that ultimately gets done, there is a space. Sometimes it's not very big, but there is a space. And then that space is our power to choose our response. And that's where our freedom lies, right? So that we are not walking around the world reacting. And that's what mindfulness really does, is help us identify that there is this space and helps us widen that window between stimulus and response. It expands that gap. Because when we have mindfulness, we grow self-awareness. And we begin to know the patterns and inner workings of our mind. So right over time, I have been able to say in a loving way towards myself, I am anxiously temperamented, I'm a recovering perfectionist, this is usually what I would do, but thanks to mindfulness, sometimes I'll take a breath and, and try to regroup. And it's not a panacea, it's not a magic bullet. but it really, really has helped me be able to be more the kind of parent that I want to be, the kind of person in the world I want to be, the kind of partner I want to be, because I am like the shaken up glitter jar, right, all the time. And a lot of us are. Life makes us that way. Life shakes us up. And so again, mindfulness through stillness or through just concentrated attention into our present moment awareness, our experience in the present moment, allows the glitter to settle. And then we can see clearly. Clarity grows. And when we have clarity, we can make more skillful choices, right? Which can be very helpful at work, right? Where we spend most of our time. Well, maybe not some of us who are, almost napping and presentations. Maybe you're at a retirement place in your career, right? But even still, there is stress because that's what life is a lot of times, right? And burnout is real. Burnout is really just this like these unsustainable stressful conditions. And a lot of time that relates to the culture of an organization. And so, when I come into organizations and businesses, it's really a talk about culture as well. It's sort of, is the messaging coming from top down that we do care about people just as much, if not a little bit more than profits, right? That we care about people's well-being because it's really costing businesses, bottom line, right? To pay for all the things that need to happen reactively because people are stressed and either they're quitting or they're requiring a lot of, medical care or other care or other intervention services. And so really one of the lowest cost and most effective ways to handle that is to have some education and some training and some integration of mindfulness into workplaces so that people can be more resilient, more focused, more engaged, have better emotional regulation skills, they don't fly off the handle, and are able to really just be more interpersonally effective with other people, play nicely in the sandbox. And you can do anything mindfully. You can do anything mindlessly, even drive, right? Like sometimes, right? We've all gotten to our destination. We're like, oh, I stopped at all the red lights. That just happens because we're thinking about a lot of different things. Our mind can multitask, but that actually isn't safe a lot of times, right? It's not the best use of our brain a lot of times. So we can really get creative, hence creative mindfulness, right? And how we apply mindfulness. So it's not that you have to make all this time to find a half hour in your day to buy a cushion, sit on the cushion, look like the cover of Yoga magazine or something, and do formal meditation practice. But you can, if that's there for you and that serves you, or if you want to try that. But you can also just do the things you're already doing with a little bit of a different feel to them. So for example, going for a walk, sometimes if we're going for a walk, we're listening to music or we're like talking to someone on our phone. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times when I see people walking and they're like talking and I'm like, do I know that person? Are they talking? What's happening? And then I see their earbuds because they're like on a phone call or something for work. Again, the multitasking, it's totally fine. But what about, we take our earbuds out and we like go for a mindful walk, even if it's just around, the parking lot of the place we work, right? So we're like, hearing the birds and we're seeing the sky. We look like this so much, like there's sky above, well, not now, but right above here there's sky, and there's beautiful things to see and to notice. And even when we're washing our dishes or we're leading a staff meeting or we're shopping for groceries or we're taking a shower, can we really be doing those things with the knowledge that we're doing those things at that time? Like this is me like turning the water on and warm water is coming down. And what I found when I am able to shift into mindfulness, I experience gratitude. I just turn this knob and warm or hot water appears for me. What privilege, I'm so grateful for that. I think about others that don't have that privilege and opportunity. And that's not something that I force, I don't have to write in my gratitude journal, but I could, right? That's actually another practice that you can put into your life. So it's sort of, in 4 minutes, I'm trying to offer you a buffet of other options that you can do to do what works for you. Because it really is about actually doing it, right? So that's the most important thing. There's no point in me, telling you a certain prescription and if you're like, oh, that doesn't fit for me. So it's thinking creatively about how you might do things a little differently. And habit stacking is helpful too. So now in the mornings, I go out and sit on the couch for 5 minutes, and I have an app called Insight Timer, and there's a sound of this. I set it for 5 minutes, and that's my formal meditation. 5 minutes. But I do that right before I wake up the kids, I brush my teeth, and do all that. It's just part of my routine. So that's also something to think about, is just stacking it with another habit that you already do and just trying to insert it and doing it for a very, very small amount of time and just playing around with that and seeing how it goes for you. So consider something that you did today, even this morning, mindlessly on autopilot, right? Maybe it was brushing your teeth because maybe you had to do that or something like exactly, did I remember to brush my teeth? Put on deodorant, whatever it is, because sometimes we're just not fully present for those things. And then what's an activity that you know you'll be doing today that you can do mindfully? So, maybe it's just looking someone in the eyes when they say like, how are you doing today? And really, sharing a moment with them, saying like, actually, like, it's been a rough week, but I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. Right? Instead of doing that, like, socially appropriate thing that we do all the time, or maybe it's just when we come home and if we are partnered and we see our partner, instead of be like, hey, I'll be in the office, I just got to return an email, like actually hugging our partner and like taking a moment. So whatever that is, these are small little things that we can do throughout our day. So just what is that for you? And who would benefit from you engaging more mindfully in your own life? It would probably be you. But if that's not enough of a motivator, I struggle with a little bit of and probably will, like a little bit of self-judgment, right? Like a little bit of like, I'm not worth the time to really do this. Like some of us may kind of be that kind of person too. But if we can know, oh, actually it helps those of us around us, it really does. There's a ripple effect. It helps our kids stay calm when we're able to stay calm. It helps our partner be able to access more of just this intimate connection with us when we're able to be present with them. It helps us in work meetings, whatever it is. Who else would benefit? And some other ideas: doing something novel once a week, taking a different route to work, getting out into nature, working with a mindfulness coach, having a dedicated tech-free time. All of these are just ideas. And I'm going to pass around my email list. And what I have is just a guide to help you think creatively. There's 5 different ways that I kind of go into talking about bringing mindfulness into your life without meditating. And again, this is how to find me. I'll pass business cards out too. And we don't have time for questions, so you're not allowed to ask any, but you can email me and find me afterwards and I'll tell you. And we're also like saving the date and doing things. So like Price mentioned that I sing. So I'll be in Sound of Music, Butterfly Guild at the Palace Theater, March 3rd through 5th. If you're musical people, I will be Sister Sophia. You can see me on stage there. But those are the kind of things in my email. I just send out once a month a newsletter with a different mindfulness theme, a creative mindfulness practice, and then some upcoming events that I'll be doing in person around Columbus. So thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry if I sped through, but I really appreciate it being here. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be on this card as well, but yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Wow, that was a lot of great information. Thank you. Oh my goodness. And now I'm thinking, growing up, I am number 9 of 10 kids. And so my dad used to vacuum. And I wonder if that was his mindfulness, was vacuuming and getting, just getting out of the craziness of our household. So anyway, I just love your ideas. Thank you so much, Katy, for your time today. Let's see. Next week, we have the Michael Wilkos from the United Way. It's really going to be an amazing presentation about Central Ohio growth patterns. So guys, really, if you can come, please bring a guest as well. I think this will be an excellent, informative presentation. And closing quote, actually, I wanted you to know tomorrow's forecast, tea time, it should be 26 degrees, but it will be sunny and there will be no snow on the ground as it has been in the last couple of years. So we're looking forward to a wonderful, wonderful day at the Polar Bear Golf Outing. I have a quote from Bob Hope. If you watch a game, it's fun. If you play, it's recreation. If you work at it, it's golf. With that, have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.
He's mindful about the response.
Yes, she is. Oh, my gosh. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
But I didn't today. No. But I will. That's a good idea. Great, great. Absolutely. Well, it's not our thing. It's Central, American Lung Association. They're the ones that was our speaker.